Can you hear me?
Yep.
Got you in the center there, and I don't have you in the center here. So what do?
We moved the computer screen over.
We move the center over.
The center of the center of the center. Okay.
Right in the middle of the show, it's going to go...
Right.
Spit it out. You warm enough? Okay. Start with that one there.
Sure.
Whatever, Trav.
Sure. I'll believe you.
All
right, here we go.
The unit is self-contained with its own saddler, farrier, wheelwright, and so on. It's a rigorous training, dished out who know all there is to know about horses, and it brings results.
We take you behind the scenes now to show just some of the interesting aspects of this training.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine, the award-winning #1 podcast to create sounder horses from the ground up. Mike Stine is a registered journeyman farrier with an APF1 accreditation. On this week's show, Mike's going to go over the Simon Cocoza clinic that he went to here recently. He also has, Mike's going to have an observation of a horse's back strength and how it relates to structural problems. And also, if you're not on the YouTube channel right now, is a great time to get over there right now because we have some x-rays of a horse with suspected canker or thrush. And we'll discuss this later on in the show. And over to my far hand side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you doing?
You're lying. You're not doing good.
Well, I'm here.
Yes.
I can't get any better than that,
Yeah.
right?
At least you're upright, right?
Yes, that's it.
So I've got, we're getting into, this is season 11 now. So we're getting into the holiday spirit, and you are getting busy now because you would think in the wintertime, everything slows down. But for you as a farrier, you are not slowing down because you've got horses coming down from up north that are coming down here like snowbirds, coming down here to get ready for what? What's the transition now here in North Carolina?
Well, there will be competitions.
There we go.
There will be competitions firing up, after the first of the year. And this will put them in a better training area than up north. And if they're, going into Florida or Georgia or some of the more southern places, they'll be based in a more central place. And then, they'll go on in the spring. We'll have stuff fired up in the Carolinas and Virginia. And then we will have the Land Rover, which we all know as the Rolex. And then about that time, if they weren't heading north, they will be heading north.
And there's a miss thing that, people think about North Carolina. They think there is snow in North Carolina. Now, for the most part, 80% of the state does not see snow all year round.
Right.
It's when you start getting up to Boone and the mountain country, because technically North Carolina is pretty much flat. It's flat for the most part. It's
a few little lumps here and there.
Yeah, but nothing that's going to, trigger snow or any kind of snowfall. So I think last year we might have had one absolute day of snow where it hit the ground, stayed until the sun came up, and then boom, it was gone.
Right.
But when you start getting on West North Carolina, like I said, Hickory, Boone, and Blowing Rock and that whole area up there, up in the mountains, yes, you do get snow up there, but not down here in Charlotte.
Yeah, they're still dealing with a lot of rough stuff up towards the mountains that they will be dealing with for a long time. So we all need to think about that. And if people are inclined to help, people need help, right?
Yes, and I've got something for you, Mike.
You do?
I do. I've got our new stickers for the Christmas season. I'm going to hand these to you so you can look at them. Check them out.
And that's something. Those look good.
And if you're watching this over on the YouTube channel, search Equine Dynamics.
Christmas season stickers.
Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Make sure you give us a subscribe over there. Here, let me see one, and I'll put it on my camera here.
Okay.
So if you want to get some of these stickers, I'm going to show it right here to the camera. There you go. It's a horseshoe with a microphone in the middle, and it's got a little Santa hat on it, and it says Equine Dynamics, creating sounder horses, and it's got a bunch of Christmas lights and stuff.
It is advertising your show.
Yeah, it's advertising your show, and it's a hologram sticker. So these are hologram stickers. So to get yours now, go to
but when we did that clinic down in Camden, the lady came in. Oh, you're Travis. I listen to your show. I listen to you all the time.
Right.
And she'll translate. Oh, and you're on it too.
Oh yeah, you're the other guy. What's your name again?
Yeah, exactly.
No. And you can get these stickers right now if you go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says contact us. Fill out a little form there, and we'll send it out to you in a physical address, and we'll send one out to you right away. Everything else going all right, Mike?
It's going.
All right. Well, we got a big show to get into, lots to talk about, so stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you'd like to be part of the show, you can join us right here in the studio. And the way you do that is go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says join the podcast. Click on that little icon there. And what it does is it opens up a page and you'll see all the past shows, all the videos and everything. I've got to update that still. I haven't done. I got to get the backdoor access to update the formula that I have to do to get all the things to show up there. It's a technical thing. That's
why I'm going to handle it, because it's technical, right?
Right. And when you're on the Join the Podcast page, at the top of the page says, leave a message for Mike Stine. Your physical voice can be heard. Speak right into a microphone, whatever, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your PC. If you got a microphone hooked up to it, we'd love to hear from you. And you can speak right into it, and you can be podcast famous. You can be right along the side in the studio with us, and we'll play your voice on the air. So, and my very own exciting person is Mike Stine over there to my right. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. Doing good.
You making it through?
I'm making it through. We're going to get there, right?
Yes. So, this week, we're going to talk about, you went to a Simon Cocoza clinic. Now, who is Simon Cocoza?
You don't know Simon Cocoza?
No, I don't know who he is.
You should have been there.
Was he on Hawaii 5-0?
He was. He was looking for you the whole time. Where's Travis? He's famous.
He sounds like a guy from Hawaii 5-0 or Magnum PI or something.
No, I think Simon is from the dressage world.
Okay, so you went to his clinic, Simon Cocoza's clinics, and when was this, and why did you go, and what did you learn?
It was a few weeks ago, and the exact date I couldn't tell you, because that's how I am with things, right?
You don't have your manuscript book in front of you,
right? Yeah, and nobody's pointing out what day it was,
right?
And because I don't really use a calendar or a clock or anything. You just
go by sunrise and sunset.
Sunrise, sunset. But no, Simon was doing a clinic talking about condition of the horse and preparing the horse for the job, and some of the problems that we run into in the horse world, which is something that, went back to Ray Morris, my Kiwi friend that was the massage therapist that we'd been working on years ago when we were teamed up, and getting the horse up and the back working like a good suspension bridge instead of collapsing, and doing all the exercises that he does to try to get the back up, and a lot more long and low, trying to get the kick in the nuchal ligament to get it to lift. And we're seeing more and more horses with kissing spine problems and all that sort of deal. And if you look in the lower legs, we're seeing more tendon and ligament injuries than we ever have. And horses being asked to do too much too fast for what they're prepared for. And so that's kind of the road he was going down. And then he had days he was doing in-hand clinics, working with horses. He would start them on the ground, teach them the maneuvers. And it goes back to, when Ray Morris and myself were working together, Ray was doing a lot of work with backs. His work was from the ground, and what I came into was that. And getting, people doing rein backs or backing a horse. Well, getting the head in the proper position will help that work faster, because you got to get the body to round into the back. You don't want them doing it inverted, and that's part of the problem with most of the maneuvers that are done way too many times. And the thing is what is scoring and what is mechanically correct. There's some questions between that if you look at the classical and you start looking at the show world.
Now, does he
in the dressage?
Does he strictly do dressage groundwork, or does he do all aspects of the?
Well, what he's doing is I think he comes from the dressage world, as I understand it, which I can be way off base real easy. But the condition of the horse goes back to preparedness for the job. Doesn't matter the discipline. And with anything, it can be overdone. The long and low, long and low, long and low. If you look at some disciplines, that is overdone to the point of damage. And you've got other disciplines that don't do that, and then you end up with damage. So you've got to work both ends of it. And when I've taken horses, when I was taking horses for rehab, it was teaching body position on the lead rope before we even moved, and doing hands-on body work. That goes back to the Ray Morris deal and Chris King and those that I've been involved with equine body work with over the years, and just loosening it up, getting parts moving, and of course doing what I need to get them mechanically right on the ground, depending on what's going on with that particular bone column.
I know with the change in the weather that we've been having, my wife gets up. She gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning before she has to go to work, and she'll go out and she'll do her lesson. This past Sunday,
right?
The temperatures have been, waking up at 6 o'clock. It's been, 21, 25 degrees in the morning. She won't. Not that she won't ride, but she's doing a lot more groundwork with Diego. And,
right.
She's doing a lot of lunging, a lot of, all the stuff. I don't know what she's actually doing. I know that she says, I do a lot of lunging. And then because of the establishment that she's at, they have like these big, nice rolling hills from one pasture to another barn. And,
right.
And so she'll take Diego for a walk on these odd and inclined surfaces, and just make sure that he's getting the workout, and he's not walking on flat ground all the time.
Right.
So that's from my end. That's what we've been doing here in the recent months as far as the weather, and I'm assuming Simon is kind of leaning towards that as well.
Yeah, horses that are always worked on flat ground. I don't want to, like Clyde Caldwell, who is Tony Gonzalez's right hand man. Clyde was a chiropractor / farrier, and one of his things was if they're always on flat ground, you start losing that range of motion of the scapula floating around the barrel, and that traversing different terrains makes them constantly have to adjust and change their balance and learn how to carry themselves. Where if they're on flat ground, they don't, they can get stuck in a position and compensate in other areas a lot easier. And if we don't change that, in time, you will have overload problems.
And just a small little insight of my little world, Mike, I go for a 4-mile walk every day.
Right.
And the road that I walk on is not a flat road. It's, the first half mile is down because it's a loop.
All the potholes.
But it's a rolling downward hill, and then the other half mile, because it's I do on a cul-de-sac, is a rolling uphill. And I know that going down,
it's easier rolling downhill than rolling uphill.
It is, but just to give you an idea, the tops of my thighs burn when I go down, and then the back, like underneath my buttocks where my leg meets my buttocks, burns on the way back up. So I'm not on flat ground, but it's right.
Working.
I'm still doing the same movement. I'm just working different.
You're working different
trying to get my
directions.
My big butt up the hill.
Well, I'm not getting into that one.
All right, guys, stick around.
It's a big load to get up there, isn't it?
I got to take 2 trips. All right, when we come back, Mike's going to talk about something that he observed here recently about the horse's back strength and how it relates to structural problems. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
I think that was coffee.
Might be leftover eggnog.
No, I don't think it's that.
No.
Leftover from last year.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well fermented.
One year, I had a hankering for eggnog for some reason, but I wanted to try it. Yeah, and I saw a commercial for like Southern Comfort in eggnog.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you know what? That might be good, like a spiced rum in eggnog. I got it. Oh, it's the worst. I threw the bottle of Southern Comfort away. I was like, oh, actually, I take that back. I think I had the bottle of Southern Comfort and I threw the eggnog away.
Oh, you should have saved the eggnog.
I don't know. It's in our liquor cabinet there. And I think it's still the one shot that I put in there minus,
Right.
So there you go. You like these new stickers?
I do.
Those are cool, aren't they?
Yes. They will be given out to everyone. Probably have to mail one to the, congressman and
right.
all that sort of deal.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you don't want to leave your voicemail or voice message for the show, I understand. A lot of people don't like the way they sound or the way, they don't want to.
You don't like the way I sound much, do you?
I love the way you sound, Mike.
That's because I give you money.
I can always tell when you're in a group of people, your voice just hangs right above everyone else's for some reason. But if your voice doesn't hang above people in a crowded area and you just want to ask Mike a question, the way you do that is go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says contacts. Fill out that little form with a question. We'll answer it on the air. Make sure you put a physical address. And let me see one of those stickers that we have.
We have stickers.
And we have brand new Christmas stickers, Equine Dynamics Christmas stickers. I'll hold it up here on the YouTube channel so you can see it's here. So it's a nice hologram sticker. Real nice printed out. And you can put it on your horse's saddle or something like that, or your tack box or something like that.
Right.
And my very own tack box over to my far inside is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
Doing all right. So we're going to talk about something that you discovered here recently when you were working on some horses. You said you observed like the horse's back strength and how it relates to structural problems with the hoofs. Tell me what you discovered.
Well, it's this is kind of a over time and the weird learning process of trying to learn how to be a farrier, which is an ongoing thing for your career, and then you start wondering why you became a farrier. Right.
Uh-huh.
But like horses that have saddle fitting problems, they're hollowed out behind the withers. There's a direct correlation between that and typically crushing heels, low palmar angle, and all that sort of deal on the front end. Same thing on the back end. If they're if they're painful in the SI area, they're going to have low palmar angles, everything smashed down in the back end, most likely. Nothing's an always, but the stronger the horse's back is, the easier it is to keep their feet together. And, I work a fair amount of dressage horses. A lot of my career has been therapeutic. And then I've got 3-day event horses. And some of the problems that I run into as far as bone column alignment in the lower limb, believe it or not, I chase that harder with the dressage horses. The event horses are working different terrains. Their fitness level has to be, better. You've got a horse that is leaner, carrying less weight, so you're not dealing with compression from that. And they have to put in some miles. And part of the deal is circulation in a horse's foot, shod or unshod. Most domestic horses do not ever move enough blood through their feet during their lives. And working with the endurance horses, back in 2008, I worked with Eval Farrier for the U.S. team, and you had a totally different foot. Now, you were also looking at different breeds and different breed characteristics, but typically, the horses that were putting in a lot of miles, as far as keeping everything tight and upright, was a lot easier. If you look at the level of riding skills, endurance riders are not to poke fun at anybody too bad, but they're kind of on the horse and they're going. They're not asking the horse to lift. They're not asking the horse anything but keep it under control and go. They're not asking for any particular, the horse just goes.
You're just asking the horse to be a horse.
Horse to be a horse and take off and go. Now, if you watch them, a lot of those horses are inverted. But if all horses should always be collected. Well, being collected takes a lot of energy, and to go that distance, that eats up a lot of energy. But they do have a fitness level. If you got a horse that has to do, a 100-mile ride, compared to a horse that's going to do 10 minutes, their whole thing is, I don't know what a dressage test takes.
Usually 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes in the arena. Little warm up, a little bit of cool down, and there you go. Versus a cross country horse, a horse that's going to go to the Land Rover or to wherever, and they might gallop for however many miles over fences, over terrain, and everything else. It's a very different deal between disciplines.
You ever seen like training camp for football players and stuff? You've seen them, and they're out there and they're running their drills and they're doing it, and
running through the tires, tripping over the tires, falling in the tires,
lifting weights and pushing things and stuff.
Right.
And then you look at them and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's a really, really good workout." But have you ever watched someone do yoga? And at the end of the yoga, they're completely like as exhausted as those are working on the football field,
Right?
Because it's that controlling and maintaining your strength core and the movement and the balance. It's kind of like what you say, like, the endurance horse will run for however long, and it is just as tiring as a horse that's doing that controlled movement for 3.5 minutes, like a dressage horse.
The controlled movement, they are burning up a lot of energy. No doubt about it.
Because it takes a lot of energy not to express energy.
Right. And so I'm not saying that they're not working.
No, not at all.
But the fitness level that is required as far as is this a top fit animal would be very different. And, I'm doing more with the eventers, and they do some dressage. They do some arena work. They put in a lot of miles. The horses I'm working on in the event world, most of them are upper level horses or heading to be upper level horses. And of course, you're dealing with riders that can ride at that level. And the dressage riders that I work for, a lot of them are not going for the upper level. They would like to down the road maybe, but that's not where they are with their riding skills.
So
that definitely plays into it.
So the structure of a horse's back has to deal with a lot of how it lands on its feet and how it takes off.
Right.
You talk about like the stick and glide and all that, going into turns and stuff. So you need a good strong back to make sure that the horse's feet are well.
Well, it's like the week I was down in Southern Pines and I was working on another referral that I've been working on for a little bit. And one of the horses involved in this, we did a round of x-rays and all this, so we need to make some changes. So I totally changed the shoeing format all the way around, added more mechanics, and the horse, let's walk it out, let's bring it back, let's walk it out, let's bring it back, let's walk it back, bring it back.
Walk it out, walk it out.
Yes, but the owner could see at that point the horse's back changing. This horse, on top of a few other things, has had some kissing spine problems. Well, if what we're doing on the ground, because everything collapses on the ground, is bringing the bone column into a better position, allows the horse to be able to to round under in the pelvis a little easier, which lifts the spine. Which, if you got a horse with kissing spine, people what's got kissing spine, let's inject, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Well, maybe we need to go back and take those horses and take a good hard look at their feet, get together with your podiatry crew, and get some X-ray shot, and let's start thinking about how we can best suit this, what's going on with the horse's feet, without creating too much compression problems from doing what we did.
Or letting it get away from you.
Part of the problem is it's already gotten away from you.
Right.
But then readjusting it, can you do it without creating compression problems in the foot from readjusting it? Because the body will try to go back to where it was. And so that's something you got to be careful with. And over years of working with this type of horse, and the fact I've had a lot of my career has been in the therapeutic world, it kind of gives me a little different view than somebody that's purely dealt with performance issues, and most of my career now is dealing more with performance issues.
All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, if you're not on the YouTube channel, now is a great chance to go over there and subscribe, because we have a whole bunch of x-rays that Mike has been dealing with here in the last couple of weeks or so. He's also been working with Dr. Megan Ratkin as well on these photos. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Oh, damn rooster. All right.
Is that his name? Damn Rooster?
His actual name is TK1.
TK1.
Yep. Taco Killer 1, because he killed a rooster named Taco, so he's Taco Killer.
He's got it going on. It's like he's challenging you now.
Yeah. This is the first one. All right, make sure I go to the right camera here. You ready?
Right.
There we go.
Correct.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Now's your chance to jump on over to YouTube and search Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. We have our very own podcast channel over there. We've got over 100 and some odd different long-length videos for every podcast we do. We have a matching video. And the reason why we have the videos, you can see us here in the studio, me waving to Mike, Mike waving to me. And anytime we have x-rays or special guests, you can see them as well. And now in this episode, we're going to have some x-rays of a horse. I'm not sure what the horse's name was, but the name is not important. It's what what's going on with the horse.
Correct.
And over to my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good. This is a horse that you have already looked at a little bit.
Oh, I have before.
Yes, you have.
I couldn't tell. They all.
You may have ridden it to the Olympics or something. No. In your dreams.
Yeah.
In bad dreams, probably, right?
Right.
But no, this is a horse that we'd worked on.
You and Dr. Megan Ratkin.
Dr. Megan Ratkin. It showed up at a barn with a trainer. And, other people have been working on it. And part of the deal was to attach something to this horse's foot. It's like you couldn't spit near this horse's foot without it reacting, right?
So it was tender. Very
tender all the way around. And it really didn't make that much sense for the horse to be that tender. So, and it's got to be in training. It's got to be whatever. Okay. So called Megan. She shot the first round of x-rays. The horse had been shot all the way around. The horse was going to kind of pretty much pull out of work. So we kind of pulled its back shoes off. They were scared to death that it was going to go out and lay down, and actually did pretty well. Now, this horse had more foot under it than you would have thought for the amount of the level it was sore. Now, on the front feet, it really was not growing any front foot. So we went to a rocker rail for a little bit and some casting because you couldn't attach anything to the foot without making it sore. And is this an ideal situation? No, but there never is, right?
No. So we're going to go, and here's the first. Oop, not that one.
That's not it.
There it is. So this is the
your left hind.
Left hind. So what are we looking at here? This, to me, Mike, I'm looking at the coffin bone. Coffin bone looks okay. It looks like you said,
it's not damaged.
It's a lot of hoof underneath there, a lot of foot underneath it, as you say in the business. The I forget is this
short pastern.
Short pastern and long pastern look like they're pretty much in sync with each other.
I don't kind of broken back in the coffin joint.
Yeah, there's a little snap right there.
Yeah.
But is that what's causing the sensitivity on the horse's feet?
Well,
but you said it was all 4 feet, or is it
was
just
all 4 feet?
Okay.
And part of the deal here is it's kind of a low to negative palmar angle. The horse, it's like there's enough foot there that it shouldn't get sore footed from you spitting on it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
but
you would think that the horse that we had on a couple weeks ago, where the coffin bone was completely annihilated, that one, if you spit on it, that would,
right.
Ouch! This one right here looks like a normal horse's foot, and it's doing the complete opposite.
There are some problems we need to get ahead of, but all in all, the quality of the hoof is not on the back feet was not terrible looking. On the front feet, the hoof wall was pretty much shelly all the way up.
So this is the left hind.
Left hind.
And then this is the right hind.
The right hind, yeah.
Almost like a twin brother of this. It looks
kind of a twin brother.
Looks almost exactly the same.
A low palmar angle, which you got to remember when you got that low palmar angle, what you're doing with your tendon pressure. You're adding some deep flexor tendon pressure. Deep flexor tendon pressure goes over the hock, and it pushes the hock a little straighter, which pushes the stifle a little straighter, which pushes the pelvis out from under it, which you will notice in the horse's lower back, and this horse was lower back sore. So the option at this point is let's get some feet fixed. The horse is young. I don't think this horse is like 5 or 6 years old.
So we can still adjust it and be successful somewhat.
We can give it a chance. This is an age that it's got a chance, and get some problems straightened out with these feet. Go forward.
No, all right. Here we go. Here's the next picture.
There you go.
Now I see
there is our left front,
and I see the paste that's on there.
Right.
I can tell Dr. Ratkin did that.
Yes, she did. And if you notice down at the tip of the toe, there's some damage in there, on the not on the coffin bone, but on the hoof itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
right here
on the next picture, we're better. In the follow up, we have thickened soles. And on your left front, you can see definitely that's your clubby side, and you see the damage in the hoof wall. But see, when I first saw this horse, that kind of damage to the hoof wall was pretty much all the way up, and we weren't not gaining any sole depth much, and we went to the rocker format for a little bit and some casting to get something on it, and we got some solid foot underneath. If you look at the coffin bone there you go, underneath the coffin bone. And you can see that dark area that runs all the way out to the toe. Mm-hmm. And on the follow-up picture, which is where you're pointing now, that's gotten much better. And we cut the casting off, and lo and behold, when we took that off on both front feet, what was under there looked and smelled like canker.
Uh-oh.
So we packed it and wrapped it and the whole bit, and hopefully it wasn't that deep.
What does canker smell like? When you say canker, I think of citrus and oranges, just because I'm from Florida.
Well, you can think of that, and if that's what your citrus and oranges smell like in Florida, you can keep them down there because we don't want them.
Does it smell like that turkey that people still have sitting in the refrigerator from Thanksgiving? Does it smell like that right now?
Last year's turkey, not this year's. No, it's a different kind of a smell from thrush, and I don't know how the canker smells like canker. Doesn't exactly smell like an abscess either, but it definitely had that canker smell to it, and canker look to it.
A little funk to it.
It had some really bad cheese, stuff you pay extra for.
Oh, God.
And, you touch the foot, it was bleeding like canker does. And it's like, okay, that might explain why this horse was so sore-footed. Maybe it had something like that underlying. So we treated it. I took some half-inch felt and cut out a big pad, and we liberally treated it with a couple of different dills that we had. We had some Epsom salt and added in with it, and made a boot and said, here, let's let him wear the bottom out of this. And the horse wasn't walking real good, but that half-inch felt, commercial felt, did a good job. And we just saturated it with what we were treating the horse's foot with, cleaned everything out the best we could. Like anything with canker, if you spit near it, it bleeds.
So, but does canker show up on X-rays? Because I don't see anything that would signify.
Well, no, there's not really anything showing up in the X-rays, and it would have been in the frog.
Oh, okay. So,
down lower.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, no. If it's in really deep, you can get it where it goes up. I've had horses that we've been involved in where we ended up removing the wing of a coffin bone because the canker had gone so far, and that might explain why this horse was so tender-footed to everything. I don't know. I don't have any good answers. We're speculating on a good day, and we can speculate pretty much anything now, can't we?
So we can. And so this was taken on September 7th this year.
Right.
And then the follow-up was taken how far apart? Because the larger X-ray here is the follow-up. I think
the follow-up was taken in November. It was a few weeks ago.
I'm trying to look at these numbers here. I don't see anything. Okay, so you basically gave it 30 days.
Right.
And so how is this horse doing now, being that it's 30 days past this, initial X-ray?
All the way around in the cleft of the frog, I left something to treat with because it's pretty tender in the back of the frog. That little cleft up the middle, and that is very deep. Outside of that, everything that looked like canker, we cut it out, cleaned it out. Everything looked good. So, what we were doing topically seemed to pretty well treat it. Now, if you've got canker problems, call your vet. Don't play with it because it can become a huge mess and something you don't want. You just don't want to play that game.
Is this horse working yet, or is it still in treatment?
Right now, because of the hoof wall condition and everything, and until we give it a chance to grow a foot, it's on turnout. And between all of us, the vet, myself, everything else, the option is let's get get shoes off, let these feet breathe for a while, and on a good day, the horse was doing very light work. The horse was originally barefoot. They had put shoes on it because it was tender-footed, and then had come into the program where I was working, gone through the whole thing there, and it was just the level of soreness made no sense. And
and now you know.
And now we think we know.
You think you know.
We don't know anything.
We never know.
So, he's gone back home, and the deal is let's keep treating and growing some foot. And the last little bit, when we did the rocker and the casting for a little bit, the hoof wall that came down from up top was actually the solidest I've ever seen on this horse. and hopefully, since that has started growing, we can continue that.
And so you're going
a decent foot, hopefully,
and you're going in the right direction.
Hopefully, we're going in the right direction.
It seems like it from my understanding.
And for light work, if he can, if we can find a place where he can be happy, and
continue his days,
continue as we are, and get through this. And if he can stay barefoot, great.
Another success story.
Right.
All right. Stick around, guys.
Call it that anyway.
Stick around, guys. One more little segment, and we'll let you get back to playing with your ponies. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. There must have been 150 people at this wedding. She's the oldest daughter. The guy next door.
Right.
His oldest daughter got married.
Okay.
And this gentleman, same age as her, I think she's 21,
right,
has had a crush on her since like elementary school. One of those, no, but I want to date you. No. And finally she gave in, and 21 years later.
Right.
I ought to be 21.
Yeah, I don't know about that. At this point, it's like, I don't want to go back for that again.
Let alone 51.
Right.
Are you ready?
Ought to be 61 for me.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you want to be part of the show, the way you can do that is join the podcast. Go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says join the podcast. It's that easy. Click on that. Opens up a little screen that says leave a message for Mike Stine. If you've got a microphone on your phone, your tablet, your PC, if you got Bluetooth, and you're sitting there around, walking around listening to the show, we appreciate you. You can speak right into your device. Comes right to our inbox, and we'll play your voice on this podcast. We broadcast every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Central Time, and we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville. So if you get it in, your voice can be heard on the very next podcast. And go ahead.
You were talking about Bluetooth like on the phone, not because you're eating that blue candy that stained everything blue.
No, not Smurf candy.
Not Smurf candy.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you'd like this podcast to perform out at your location, or if you'd like Mike Stine to perform a clinic out at your location, you can find out all that information there at equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page it says clinics. Fill that out. We can do this podcast right at your very own wedding. You could do it at your bar mitzvah.
We can do a clinic at your wedding and bar mitzvah.
Yeah, and if you got a garage sale, or if you've got a house full of people and you just want to entertain them for a couple hours or so, we can do that for you as well. This podcast can be right there on your very own front doorstep. And over my far hand side, shows up on my doorstep every day, is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, kind of like a stray cat. You keep feeding it.
Yeah, it never goes away.
That's right.
So, Mike, what did we learn today? Mike, what did we learn today?
What did we learn today?
We learned that you went to a clinic by Simon Cocoza, and about building back strength of a horse. And why is that important, Mike?
Well, to keep your horse healthy and sound, it's always, as long as the back stays up and strong, everything else doesn't start collapsing. The more it collapses, the harder it is to keep the rest of the horse together. And
also, I guess along the same sense as how this relates to the structure of the problems that are caused in hooves.
Right. The strength of the back, if you got a good strong back foot lifting, you're going to have better movement patterns. You're going to have better standing patterns. You're going to deal with less compression problems with the foot.
And also the x-rays of a horse that you and Dr. Megan Ratkin were working on. And we'll go to camera 6 here. And this horse, you said you couldn't even get like an inch from it without it flinching because the feet were so sore. But when you look at the x-rays, you really can't see anything wrong with the coffin bone for the most part.
No, you really don't. And as far as the treating, the front feet we wrapped and packed. The back feet we were treating with them open.
Yeah, this is the back feet here.
Much better and much happier, and he's going to go enjoy himself being a lawn ornament and a light use horse most likely. And so sometimes you just got to back up and punt on everything you do. everything does not always show itself to face value to start with.
All right, guys, make sure you follow Mike Stine over on Facebook. Search Equine Dynamics Mike Stine. He always posts a bunch of interesting articles about horses and the furthering education of horses and creating sounder horses. And he puts a bunch of different like diagrams and articles. So it's a great follow over on Facebook. Make sure you follow him over on YouTube as well. We have our very own channel over there on YouTube. Search Equine Dynamics Mike Stine, and you can see for every podcast we do have matching videos, and you can see the X-rays and Mike's lovely face and my face as well.
Oh, you have such a lovely face.
And don't forget, our new Christmas stickers are in. So if you'd like to get those, go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says contact us. Fill out that little form and we'll send them out to you just in time for the holiday for your stocking stuffers. On behalf of Mike Stine over there,
have a good day. Enjoy your ponies.
My name is Travis, saying see you next week.
Hey, Dusty.
Good night, Ned.
Good night, Ned.